I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-minute convos where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good night, Andrew Alliance. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful night?
Very good, very good. It's just a little rainy, but it's nice in
That's
New York.
great. Oh, you're in New York. Okay, New York, New York. So is your real last name Alliance?
Yes, it is.
Oh, what a name to be mounted with.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. Well, Andrew, please do tell me which of your talents that you've been operating in that you think is responsible for us connecting at this time in our lives.
I think podcasting and just a little bit of
Yeah.
Facebook and some quotes. Today I was thinking about one of the interviews I saw on ESPN with Carrie Champion and Ric Flair. And one of the things that Ric Flair said was he wished that he spent more time saying no than to say yes for every opportunity that came his way. And I thought that was really powerful. And then I think right after that, we connected.
Wow. Wow. So I fell in the yes part of that quote, right?
Mm. Right.
Which is good, which is good. So tell us about your podcast, please, Andrew.
Yeah, the show radio is what it's called. It's a tech gaming and entertainment podcast. Been doing that since 2009. I think we're at 377 now as far as the episodes.
Congratulations. Wow.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, well done.
Appreciate it. We live stream on Sundays, and I recently added a co-host at 340, Daniela, and she's been amazing, and she's in Hawaii. So we've been having a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, it's amazing what the technology allows us to do, right? Like
Yeah.
you're coast to Hawaii. How fun is that?
It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stuff juggling back and forth, but it's good.
Yeah, I can't wait to the time when the technology gets me over there the same way Skype does.
Nice. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Well, who did you learn the skills necessary to do what you're doing via the podcasting, via the show radio, if you would?
Yeah, it's interesting because a while ago, I guess we would go back to 2009. I was listening to a lot of shows back then, and one of the things I really wanted to do is meet the individuals that I was listening to, just to have a relationship with them, if that was even possible. And I think through some of the guys at the time in the gaming industry, I was paying attention to, and on my wife's birthday, I decided, hey, you know what? I want one of my own. I want a podcast and see what I can do with it. And it's been a journey ever since.
Wow, well, congratulations on that. I had a similar scenario. Yeah, I definitely felt that way as well, listening to podcasts and listening to this guy called Johnny Dumas. And I said, you know what? I'm going after his podcast count, right? Because I'm that competitive guy.
Yeah.
But definitely in being competitive, I've found the passion and found a way to continue lighting it, right? Which is having conversations with amazing people from all over the world, just like yourself, Andrew.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
You are welcome. And it's because of what you were doing, because of the decision you made to do what you're doing, we're connecting now. It's fascinating, right?
Absolutely.
So why will you continue to repeat these skills now that you've jumped into it?
I love it. I mean, it speaks to my DNA. It speaks to me wanting to help people. I guess it went from being selfish to realizing that it's actually inspiring some individuals to create their own content and their own platform to speak about the things that they want. So at this stage in the game, for a while, it was lonely, to be quite honest. And now that I have somebody to bounce things off of, after an awesome event or an expo or something like that, I can have a conversation of how we can be better individuals as far as social good to provide content to the world. So I guess that's just really selfless at this point in terms of how we create content.
Now, where's the best place for someone to go if they're interested in the Nintendo, right?
Yeah, Nintendo Switch, right? Xbox One X just dropped their console today, November 7th. And, PlayStation's doing well, over 64 million sold. GTA 5, the game, sold over 85 million. So all the stats and stuff are out there. And it's fun. It's fun. But the conversation is, as you said, competitive nature. I don't listen to any gaming podcasts before I record mine. So even my colleagues, respect for them, absolutely. But when it comes to my DNA to speak my truth, I think that I wait to record before I listen to their stuff.
Yeah, I definitely feel the same way. I had to stop listening to Fire and even Dave Ramsey, two of my favorite shows, because I was mirroring. You tend to mirror, right?
Right.
So yeah,
Right,
most
because you love
definitely.
them and you
Yeah,
look up to them to some degree, and I think you end up doing that.
yeah. So where do I go to connect with what you're doing? The show radio via iTunes. Where else can we connect
Yeah,
with
the
you?
show radio is on iTunes for sure. It's on Google Play. There's actually an announcement coming up for the next content distribution network that we're going to be a part of. So I'm going to announce that pretty soon. But it's anywhere you can find a podcast at this point, and definitely at theshowradio.info/listen. And once you hit that page, it gives you the option to pick your podcatcher of choice, and you can just click it and go.
Hmm. Now, what is one other thing that you've done, Andrew, consistently over the last 3 years?
Church and the podcast, really.
Hmm.
So it's been church is a very integral, I guess I could say, part of my life. So every Sunday, every Wednesday, for the most part, very active in ministry and the podcast for sure.
How does that make you feel?
But it's good. It's good. I mean, whenever you get prideful in the the accomplishments that happen, whether it's companies sending you product or going to events as press, I think a good reset for me is every Sunday and Wednesday to realize that if it wasn't for God, you wouldn't have any of these opportunities, let alone breathing air. So I think that's always a good place for me to make sure that I'm there to regroup and start again. So it's definitely grounding.
Yeah, what would you suggest someone out there, someone who's going the speed of light, right? That they do what you've done by definitely having those checkpoints.
Yeah, I think it's at this point it's one episode at a time, right? Because the stat, as you know, or you've probably seen, is 7 episodes and people pod fade, right? So I think that at this stage in the game, even to starting today, is just taking it one episode at a time and just be honest with yourself. And I think even the last 2 years, self-awareness has been big for me to realize what I like and I don't like in and outside of the industry, and even in the church and ministry setting, what speaks to me, boundaries and all those things. So I think that, one episode at a time, and pen and paper is always good when you're listening to shows because they always drop a lot of wisdom that you don't want to miss as you're listening.
Yeah, like I have my pencil and paper right next to me for the same said reason, right? Well,
Absolutely.
amazing audience. We are live with Andrew Alliance. Do check him out, the show radio podcast. Now he is the co-host, right? Because he has Daniel, right? All the way in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Andrew, let's switch gears for a moment now. Let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Andrew, what is your earliest childhood memory?
Okay, so one of the childhood memories, because I was looking at the questions before we started, I have a few, but I narrowed it down to the one where I was in Brooklyn at the time. It was East 29th between Beverly Road and that area in Brooklyn. If you're ever in Brooklyn, definitely check out that area. So I was outside playing "That's My Car," pointing to the car. That's my car. That's my car. That's my car. That conversation, and then I realized that day I was actually, asking God to send me a wife if I ever get married and what she would be like and her descriptions and heritage and nationality and background and all that. And interesting thing with that is what I prayed for then is exactly what I got many years later, which was interesting. So I think that story sticks out to me. There's other ones, crazy ones, rebellious ones, but that one was really powerful too. And even, car brand, I know I'm big into cars at this stage today. My friend's dad always pulled out with his BMW to leave the block. It was a one-way block, and it was like, man, one day I want to have a BMW, and that came true too. So I believe in the power of prayer, for sure. And those two things stick out.
Now, how old do you think you were in that memory?
Between 5 and 7.
Wow.
Between 5 and 7.
Wow. Well, you've definitely spelled out why you think this is so clear. I'll still ask it though. Why do you think this particular memory is so clear?
I mean, my wife means everything to me, and God means absolutely everything. And I think He is the head of everything that we do, especially in our relationships. And I don't think that I can have any intimate relationships the way I have them now, even with Daniela, if it wasn't for God. So And I think that that is spilling over to the podcast, even though it's not necessarily a theological podcast or anything like that. But I think that it is who I am, and I can't deny it. So that's a big part of it.
Well, can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind?
Sure.
I love the idea of two things that are occurring in the picture, which is one, the power of your words, and two, transportation, if you would. It's really fascinating that you were calling out cars, or even the tech at that point in time created an opportunity for a transportation system for you to accomplish things that were really, really fascinating or not even possible a time before. And it's intriguing to me that now your words are being transported via tech to accomplish so many other things, so much more inspiration that it would not have been able to accomplish before time.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right about that.
If we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
Oh, man. It would have to be Crisscross, maybe, I guess, at that time. Crisscross Jump.
Yeah.
So that was that era, and there was a whole bunch of artists, but I think that one stuck out for me.
I remember. Yeah, Mommy, could I put my T-shirt on wrong side? No.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. And anyone who was in that era immediately hears that song, right, and sees Crisscross just jumping in the video, right, like the imagery. That's great. Well, my friend, we've arrived at our destination. But before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to go pretty quickly here. Are you ready, Andrew?
Yes, I am.
Andrew, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Yes, Daniela right now, and anyone who listens to the show.
All right. Are you married? Well, you said Daniela is your wife, right?
No,
Daniela is your
Christina.
wife.
Christina is my wife. Daniela is my wife.
So yeah, sorry, Daniela, because I said your name wrong the first time. So Daniela is in Hawaii. All right.
Yes.
And your wife is who again? Say it again.
Christina.
Oh, there we go. So it's Christina and Daniela. Daniela is in Hawaii. Amazing audience. Christina is his wife. So he is married. Do you have children?
Yes, one daughter, 15.
Do you believe in God?
Absolutely.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes, I do.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
It's an interesting question. I would say yes.
All right. And what about screen time, the phone under the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Man, that phone and computer thing, man. That thing could catch up, but you could get lost in that. So I would say, yeah, it's about 8 or more.
Yeah. Hey, after 1,001 conversations, Andrew, in 3 months in 2016, thereafter I came up with a workbook. The name of it is called Yours. It stands for Your Own Unique Real Self. And my idea is you answer questions that are self-reflective and then hopefully be able to identify your mission, which I term your own unique real statement. I'd like to know, Andrew, if you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who you are, what would you say that is?
Speak your truth. Definitely, and do not apologize for who you are or who you're becoming, and that's a process. So I would say that speak your truth.
Love it. Andrew Alliance, this was a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Yes, definitely start a podcast if you do not have one, a vlog, or anything that allows you to speak out the things that you are passionate about. So definitely consider doing that. And over time, what you realize is you'll build your own self-awareness as you do that.
Love it. You will come into alliance with who you truly are. Andrew
Absolutely.
Alliance. Hey, thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com. And for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com. youre.com.